Batman Catwoman issue 12, Tom King writing with Clay Mann on art. The final issue in this series, and boy,
this is a book I read. That's my review.
Like, obviously, the future stuff in this, old Selena goes off on vacation, leaves things in a not sort of happy terms with her daughter, but it does reveal that what's her face, Andrea, Phantasm. Yep. She's actually still alive. She never died in the present day story. That was all a ruse they had together. And I was like, okay, I wish I remembered more clearly what all those details were, so that this would have hit me. Like, I do remember that she was supposed to have died, but like I could not tell you much about the context of how that happened.
I just remember that they were standing in that family's room, where like Christmas, in the living room, and that she admitted that they, that her child was their child, and then Joker shot her. That's all I remembered. So I did like that, because I like that they pulled a scheme. I also love the dynamic between Selena and Helena here. Right? That's her name, right? It's the Batwoman?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Is that, she thinks that she wants the ring, and she's like, no, your father gave me that ring. I left you with something else. So I did love their dynamic a whole lot.
Well, go on. What'd you leave her?
I gotta remembe. This is the first thing I read this week.
It's the glasses.
Yeah, that's right. The glasses of the Joker.
Yeah.
That prove basically that Selena was there when Joker died, and that Helena can be her father's daughter, and give these to Commissioner Grayson, and prove that, or she can just let her go off into the sunset. She's an old woman, and that pisses off Helena, right?
Yeah, and she didn't want the ring either. For the record, because she thought it was the ring she was giving her in the box, but she was like, I don't want that. And we see what the actual wedding was. That's the last chunk of the issue. It's just a cheesy wedding hotel. Selena says, let's get the bat package, which is some dude dressed as Batman will officiate the wedding. And it sort of calls back to the double date, because like they need two witnesses, and like he calls in Clark and Lois.
I love that the most, because they show up Lois shows up in the dress that she borrowed from Selena in that double date.
Would you notice that Clark's using the Smallville rules, where he's in the colors? He's got a blue suit, a red shirt, and a yellow tie. That's just
he wears his best for his friend's wedding.
Yes.
Who else is there? But yeah, I love that they did a quickie wedding. I
don't have a whole lot to say. It ends with them, the kiss after they're married, and that's the end of the issue. And it does feel a little bit like it's if anything, it's more of an epilogue issue to the rest of the book than it is kind of its own thing. And that is really weird when it's been delayed so much that it's been like 3 months since issue 11.
Yeah. I will say, though, you can tell Tom King was having fun. I felt like early in his run, he had the Batman restaurant, right?
Yeah.
They all went and ate at. I feel he's having the same amount of fun here with the dude dressed in the Adam West Batman costume, officiating the wedding. And they're supposed to play another song.
Like, I have no doubt that there's some layers here, and there's some things that he's poking at that he's probably put a lot of thought into. But I think the delays between issues have made it impossible for me to actually remember anything, to actually connect those dots. I am genuinely curious how this is going to read as just a 12-issue hardcover, because that is probably going to be much better than the experience reading the single issues.
I think so, up until you get to the really bad Liam Sharp art, and then it's gonna, if you remember that.
I do.
He got experimental with it, and but no, it felt like finally Tom King was having fun again, because this book got pretty dark at points, right? Talking about child murder and Christmas and whatnot.
That said, though, I do want to say, even if reading this as 12 issues like in one run makes it better, I still think it's easily the weakest Tom King
Prestige
12-issue book that he's done, or including Supergirl as well as an 8-issue book.
I don't argue there. Like, this is nowhere near the level of Supergirl.
And certainly not Mr. Miracle or
Rorschach
or Human Target or Strange Adventures. Like, man, this dude's been pumping out classics after
this
classic.
This does feel though like this was supposed to how his arc was supposed to finish.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a few things that have changed. If if it had been in just the regular Batman book, I'm sure there's a few things that would have been a little bit different. I mean, this scene at the end where they get to actually finally marry, I've got a funny feeling that either wouldn't be there, or it'd be like a dream sequence, or maybe a scene like a possible future or something like that.
That's what I'm thinking of, the possible future, because we did get that where it was in one of the annuals where we had the Michael Lark story.
Which
was last days.
Which is his death and like all that stuff. Yeah.
And how the family comes around him. So I feel like this would have been one of those types. It maybe wouldn't have been 12 issues, right? But it would have ended a certain way. But no, but again, I felt like he was having fun here towards the end, which is good, because that fun does come through in like Human Target, where that's a very fun book to read.
Yeah.
Despite the serious subject matter of it all.
But you know what? It says something though, that Human Target is so well written and told that I am not worried about jumping back into issue 7 after 4 or 5 months since issue 6. Like, every single issue has been so distinct. Every issue had its own sort of like arc and what the character's going through and realizing, and it's inventive at points. Sometimes it's just raw, like comic art where the faces are telling a story and they're reacting to things. It's exceptional. And this, by comparison, is a bit of a mess.
Yeah. And it helps that like he gets the best artist to work on these, and we're not that there's anything wrong with Clayman. Like, Clayman's serviceable, but it does seem like Heroes in Crisis, which we don't talk about, was Clayman. This was mostly Clayman. It's kind of funny how that broke out.
I don't necessarily think it's Clayman's fault per se, because it just happens to be the ones that he's worked on are the ones that have been by far the most disjointed in how they've been told. Yeah. So it almost feels like, as it's jumping around things, like it could practically just be like pin-ups that are somehow strung together to make a story at times. Not every page, but a lot of them do feel that way.
But yeah, I think that's funny. But yeah, no, Tom King is spoiled for great artists and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm just glad it's over at this point, to be honest. Yeah, me too. And that's the thing that I feel that's missing with some of his Bat work, is that it's missing some of that stuff that, it doesn't have that emotional connection for me. And I thought that's just because, I get annoyed by Batman easily, but it doesn't seem to be working with you either. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just the big swings. I think that part of the problem is that this format that he's telling this story in, he's kind of adhering to the format that he was doing a lot of the latter half of his Batman run. And, that's when we didn't like the book that much. That's when I thought the book went downhill. So inherently, this just had a kind of an anchor around it that it just maybe was never going to completely overcome, sadly. And I get why, as a writer, though, he wanted to keep it consistent, because it is kind of the end of his run. It's kind of like he's finishing off all those things he was doing. It's just that, sadly, I don't really like how he told a lot of, the last like 30 or so issues of his Batman run. Like, I don't really like how he did those. So, hey ho, it is what it is. It's finally over though. So, what are you giving Batman Catwoman issue 12?
I'm gonna give this a 6.5.
Yeah, I think I'll just go with a 6. Sadly, and I thought this book did start off all right when they were doing the Phantasm stuff, and it was a bit more conventional in how it was told before it got too complex. And maybe it was just the delays made it worse. I don't know, but there was definitely some stuff towards the end that wasn't working as well.